All right, so when we're talking about specifically the letters and getting ready to install them, obviously you can see we've already painted all of these, we've polished them, they're ready to go. These actually have the original molded screws that are in them. However, I want to reinforce them. If you guys haven't already, go over to my other video. I'll link down in the description on how to do restoration on the letters. And that's pretty much what you would do for most letters that are going to have these that are broken off like you see over here. For these won't break off. I've tested them with pliers trying to see if I could get them to break off. They still hold good strength. So the reinforcement is I'm going to come in here with a liquid quick weld by JB Weld. And for this, it's got a steel reinforced epoxy. And so it's just going to sit smoothly and evenly all the way around this. And the idea behind that is that it will actually adhere to both pieces, keeping that flush. So if I was ever worried that this would break off, that would not be the case. For the ones that are broken off, like I said, go get that link in the description on how to restore these. You'll see that what I do is basically get these little screws over at Lowe's, which is also in that description, as well as a end mill that I utilize on just a regular normal drill press. And from there, I just file them down so I can get them nice and even, and then I lay them in there once I get the JB Weld in there. They work really, really well. After the fact, I let them cure for a couple days, put them in a vise, try to break them with the pliers, and of course, as you can see with this one, I just cannot break it whatsoever. The rest of it I could shorten down, cut some of it off so they're not quite as long, and then just put a locking nut on the back of it set with some red Loctite. And once that's all set to go, those letters are pretty much done, and will never have to be worried about lost on your trailer. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start the mixture up over here. We're going to fill it all in so we have that secondary backing with these screws so we don't have to worry about losing it. And of course, I during installation will put these against the trailer, little bit of the Sika Flex, and then tighten it down, and we're good to go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and just switch over to a time lapse. Go ahead and start mixing this, and we will get this set up and ready for installation to wrap this video up. So here we go. All right, now that we got the letters all epoxy welded in there, you'll notice, and hopefully the camera picks this up, but I've gotten some spilled over on the threads of that. And the easiest way to get that cleaned up is to just go get you a new rethread tool. You can pick them up at your Home Depot or Lowe's. I'll link it in the description here for this video. They're about 10 bucks. It's pretty simple. You don't need the entire tool, you just need the rethread. This is 4 mil. You're just gonna put it on top, align it, and then you're just gonna thread it as if you're putting a nut on, and that will cut into the threads to remove this excess epoxy right here. And then it'll look kind of like that if the camera picks it up. Cleans it all up, and it's ready to have a nut threaded on there, which we'll use red Loctite, of course, on there. Pretty simple. I'm just going to set it up here just like this, line it up where it needs to go, and then all it really is basically just turning it and keeping it as straight as you possibly can, getting it on the threads, and once it's on there, it's just about turning it through the epoxy and it'll start cutting it. So there it goes. Go ahead and just continue threading it on. You can see that epoxy just cutting off right there in between, coming off right there. So we'll thread it all the way down, just like putting a nut on. Take it as far as you can get it down, seated, knowing that you've got good threads coming all the way out. So you can see that it's gone through here, hopefully. Let's see if I can get that angle right there. So you can see where the screw's coming out just outside of the threads. Turn it a little bit more. So now you should be able to see it coming through there, and then you just unthread it. And now there's your threads. Do it down to the bottom, same thing. Get it on there, and just like you're tightening down. We'll do this to all of them, obviously, to make sure that we have a clean thread on there for the nut and washer that we're gonna lock these onto. But you can see I've gotten it all the way, hopefully through there, coming out. And then we'll just unthread it again. See all that epoxy coming off. Just like that. Nice and clean. Letters nice and clean, ready to go. So now we'll go ahead and take these letters out after all cleaned up, and let's go ahead and install them onto the trailer and wrap up the letter section for this part. All right, we're talking about the installation of letters. Pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to put the letter in its corresponding spot on the trailer. Once it's nice and flush with the trailer, we're going to back that up with a flat washer, followed by a locking washer on top of that, followed by a cap nut, which is M4, and that will all be bonded with Loctite 271 through that. So we'll go ahead and install all of that. Once they're installed, we will back it up with the Sikaflex, and then from there we will go to the rear and do those ones, and that will wrap up the letter installation on the trailer. So that's what it looks like on the front side when they are installed. I'm going to go ahead and continue to finish the rest of them in the front as well as the back. We're going to wrap this video up and head over to the next one as we continue to race to the finish line, wrapping up everything exterior as we move into the inside. Guys, if you haven't already, go down, hit that subscribe button, share this video with your family and friends. Until next time, as always, this is Danny signing out.